It's a wee night of the show that helps you forget that Monday morning is a thing. I'm Marc Steele. Across the table from me is...
And it's Jenny Steele, just putting my cup down.
You just put your cup down. And we are joining you on the day, and maybe you just saw a bit of it there, that everybody, including you, is jet lagged. Why do you think that is?
It's the hour, isn't it?
It is. The hour. The clocks have jumped forward, and the problem I've got is I'm trying to remember, have all the clocks in the house changed? Because some of them change themselves, they're all magical things like that. Other ones you have to change yourself, and some of them you have to get the manual out because it's just so complicated to figure out how to actually change them and whatnot.
Well, I gave you the list this morning of what needed to be changed manually.
Yeah, so if there's anything missing from that list, we will find out the hard way when I rock up for work an hour late tomorrow. The funny thing that's, I guess, throwing me off tonight is it's so light at the moment. And because we've just had that extra hour of light in the evenings landing for us, right? Problem is, I don't know what to do with it. The best idea I've come up with so far is taking the cat to Tapdance.
Well, it's been slinging it down and blowing a gale force wind all day.
Yeah.
And now it's not too bad. So what we could be doing is you could be helping me in the garden, planting my dahlia tubers and doing a bit of weeding. So
my choices are either more work or an impossible challenge that I will not nail by the time the clocks go back again. There we go. So that's what I'm going to be doing with my extra hour. What are you going to be doing with your extra hour a day? Like, we'd love to hear from you. And we are asking about... I'm trying to remember what we're asking about now. I'm drawing a blank.
You were just thinking chocolate, weren't you?
I'm not thinking about chocolate because there's a twist in that and we'll get to that later. No, I am thinking about the fact that we have just got our extra hour of light in the evenings. What are you doing with that extra hour? And you come up with some fantastic ideas, including Alfie saying evening sitting by the sea with 1 extra hour.
That sounds lovely.
I am well jealous because we're about as far away from the sea as it's physically possible to be.
I know. I want to move to the seaside though.
You want to move to the seaside? You do know that occasionally it's not all sunshine and sand and all that kind of stuff. And the bit they don't point out is the sea stinks most of the time as well. So you get seaweed on the beach and that. I don't want to say it reeks, but it's got a very distinctive smell. Yes, you cannot miss it. And Arganav saying, lovely, just enjoying the light at 7:20 in the evening. And Chris asking, what are you going to do with the long evening? Sooty asking our cat. We have inquired with her and mostly just bobbing around, enjoying life. She hasn't got any particular plans. She just bobs around.
She does,
It's what she does. It's a wee night where sometimes you share your film recommendations, including this one from Sandro and saying, I saw the Martin Clunes film Mother's Pride this afternoon and enjoyed it. That's a film called Mother's Pride, not to be confused with the song Mother's Pride by Blue, nor the loaf of bread with the burnt ends on it, also called Mother's Pride.
Do they still make Mother's Pride bread? I've not seen it for years.
I assume it still exists. It must still be a thing. But apparently the film is a comedy drama, and it's about a failing pub, a divided community, and a grieving family whose lives are changed by brewing real ale and entering the British Beer Awards.
Is it on Netflix? Sounds good.
I've no idea. I assume it's still in cinema at the moment. When it'll come out in VHS at some point, and that's when we'll get around to Betamax. Yeah, I'll only get it on pirate video. I'll wait till it's available on the high seas.
Yeah, or car boot sale.
Don't feel like I'm watching a film unless I've got a silhouette of somebody going up to go to the bog in the middle of it.
Or get the popcorn or the ice creams.
Paul has been in touch to say, yes, in Scotland, you can still get Mother's Pride with no crusts on it. I tried it once, but never again.
Is it not nice then?
I don't think it's that bad, but that might just be a bit of the old Stockholm syndrome going on, because when I was a kid, it's the sort of loaf my mum bought all the time.
I think my mum did as well.
So I'm just used to it as a thing. I don't think of it as weird or anything like that. It's just like, okay, yeah, it's a thing. It's the sort of thing we'd have in the house, and they'd be layered in butter, and that's how you got on with it.
I think this is Asda, but somebody can correct me if I'm wrong. What's the deal with the red baskets? Because I didn't know red baskets was a thing.
I thought Red was a different supermarket. I didn't know there was red baskets.
There's the normal green basket.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
This is what makes me think it's Asda. And then there's some red baskets that people can look at.
Well,
sorry.
Green could be Safeway for going back in time about 20 years. It's a possibility.
Well, I thought I'm going to have a look into this because somebody said that they picked up a red basket because the only baskets that were left were the red ones, and they didn't really want to use this red basket because people were kind of coming up to them and chatting and things. I thought, what is it with this red basket? So I did a Google, and apparently it was round about Valentine's Day that it's a way, you know how they say people, the best place to meet your new partner is over the fridge or something in a supermarket, that sort of thing. Apparently, if you're open to chatting to other singles while you're out doing your weekly or your daily shop, you use one of the red baskets, and that's a sign that you're open to people stopping and having a chat about, anything really. So I thought it's a good idea. And has any of our listeners actually picked up a red basket, either by mistake and then got, I don't know if you got propositioned or anything, or if you picked it up wanting to chat with people?
So Paul mentions it's all to do with Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
Personally, I think it's way too subtle. My preferred approach is to get the ghetto blaster out, pop this song, and just wander down the aisles.
Yeah, you could do.
It sends a message. It's very clear. It's very to the point. And you get to enjoy George Michael as well. We'll get there in the end.
Yeah.
Hopefully by the end of the song, enjoy it on a wee nasser. That's the smooth sound of George Michael, Careless Whisper, on a wee natter. I'm old enough to remember when late night radio was either completely wacky nut jobs, like me and Jenny D. listener, or those late night love things. I just couldn't stand them. I'm sorry,
No,
it was not for
I
me.
couldn't, to be honest. I can't remember who the person was that was always doing the late night love shows round us. But did you see the actual sponsor? At some point it was sponsored by the Samaritans.
Yeah, I thought that was a little bit on the nose when I heard that once. But anyway, there you go. Where we're also talking, the reason we're talking about love is to do with red baskets.
Yeah, red baskets.
Where Paul is admitting he got hit with a baguette after picking one up. By his missus.
His missus.
Understandably. Hopefully, we can solve your fantastical problems. As Paul has been asking, something that's baffling me this week is why when you put a jug in the microwave and the bell pings, got a very old-fashioned microwave, it's got a bell that pings, is the handle always at the back? Now, Argonaut suggests it's Sod's Law, but I think it's beyond that. What it is, it's also to do with, the fact that the universe is got that superposition thing. You ever heard of Schrodinger's cat? It is the experiment where you don't know if the cat's alive till you open the box. And when you do it, it's both alive and dead until you open the box and it makes that decision. Yeah. With the microwave, the handle's both away from you and towards you until you open that door. But almost every time it goes to the back because you've started to look at it and you've forced it into that. You've made the observation, you've made it happen. It's a physics thing.
Do you think it's like if you put it on for 3 minutes and the handle's at the back, do you think if you put it on for like 3 minutes, 5 seconds, it'll be at the front?
There's only one way to find out, and that's to spend many, many hours with a microwave and a jug. And I don't think we're up for that. It's R.E.M. on a wee natter where everybody hurts. And PG Everyone Can't Sing. I was in a lift with R.E.M., had no idea who they were. Nice guys. When they got out, I asked the concierge, and he looked at me as if I was a bit crazy, especially as I've been chatting with him about the concert I was going to that night. And he said, they are the gentlemen from R.E.M., madam.
Oh, that's funny.
I've done similar with what was the band that came to visit.
The Wanted, was it?
It was The Wanted, yeah. When I worked at a radio station. Not on the radio. They're not stupid enough to let me on the radio. But anyway, I was working as a techie, setting up for this band to come in and do the interview. And there's just this young kid by the desk waiting. You know, we're setting up to come in. He's just waiting. And I'm thinking he's a work experience kid. So I go up and asked him, are you looking forward to meeting the band? He was the lead singer.
We went out for a meal the other day, and we know when your dessert comes along and they do the nice kind of zigzaggy sauce that they put on, and then you get the icing sugar all sprinkled on, and there's like a bit of greenery on the top. of the cake.
Like a mint leaf or a bay leaf or something like that. Okay, yeah. I know what it was.
Are you supposed to eat that bit of greenery? Because I did pick it up and put it to the side. I didn't want to pick it up and have a nibble and go like that and then try and be embarrassed and try and spit it out while nobody was looking. So I left it. I thought I'd ask people tonight on the show, are you supposed to eat the greenery that they plonk on top of a dessert?
Well, I can tell you, if it's a mint leaf, you can eat raw mint, like the plant. You can eat it, and it does taste of mint. But the problem is, you're used to having mint in sweeties and things like that. Yeah. So you're expecting the sweetness. There's no sweetness. Oh. And it throws you off guard. You're like, whoa, what's going on here?
What does it taste like then? Like you're eating a bit of grass?
Well, it's a bit of grass. It tastes a bit like toothpaste without the sweet element to it. It's all a bit strange and weird. I do not recommend eating raw mint if you can get away with it. Anyway, we are continuing to talk about food. We cannot get away from food on this show. No. And we're talking about little leaves that you used to get on top of your piece of fruit cake or whatever it is. And Paul points out it's the same with leaving the leaves on the strawberry on top of a dessert.
Yeah, I don't get that.
You don't eat those leaves, but for some reason they leave them on them.
Yes.
I guess because it looks prettier or something.
I like my strawberry like cutting off sort of thing, because when you try and eat the strawberry, you've got to try and suck the strawberry. You get that bit stalk in the middle, and I don't like that stalk either. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. However, I'm going to have to say I like the mint on top of a dessert. It takes some of the sweetness away. So some people actively choose to consume. Why would you want to make a sweet less sweet? That makes no sense in my head at all. And Sandra says, I never eat it, Jenny. I have a friend who is in catering, and we had a meringue went out, and they had 4 pieces of fruit on top. My friend said, they have done this wrong, and there should always be an odd number of fruit on the dessert. I thought, who cares? But now I find myself counting
the fruit.
If I ever have fruit on a meringue.
Oh, do you know what now? I'm going to find myself counting the fruit now. Now, if I've not got an odd number, that's it.
So does that apply to all fruit-based desserts? So if you were having trifle, which you won't know how many of anything you get.
Please God, don't tell me you want to have an odd number of 1001 that the sprinkler on the top.
If you want to sit there counting it for hours on end, nobody is going to stop you. But I was thinking, when you get down the layers and you get down to the jelly and fruit layer, right? Are you going to sit there counting the number of bits of fruit in there and whether that's odd or even or even? Because the problem is whoever's serving up wouldn't necessarily know unless they're psychic or they were very good in making sure they were all spread out across the trifle.
Do you know what? That just shows you, though, if you're a connoisseur or you're at the top of your profession, maybe that's the sort of thing you should know. So this ain't got an odd number of fruit.
So what you're telling me is, even though I'm a connoisseur of consuming food, I would not be a connoisseur of presenting and serving food.
No, not if your chicken Kiev's anything to go by.
Now you see, food was going to be my backup plan when this tech stuff all implodes. You know, when the robots take over and artificial intelligence does all the jobs. My cunning plan was to launch stodges. Have I told you about stodges before?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. So basically, it's a drive-through restaurant, a bit like Macca's or KFC or something like that, but it serves home cooked style foods, proper stodgy old-fashioned stuff. Yeah. The calorie counts are in the thousands. Yeah. So when they print them on the menus, it's got this whole separate column with 4 figures on it. Ignore them, you just get to enjoy it. And you get a drive-through casserole in a bowl. You get a drive-through,
apple dumpling.
Yep, all those
jam roly-poly.
All those warm, stodgy meals you love. A bit of stew, a bit of, I don't know. We'll have to come up with a list. But I'm also trying to work out the practicality of making it work on a drive-through. I'm still churning through that bit in my head because at the moment it's basically a full plate table service in disposable bowls and things like that. But trying to eat that in the car would be a challenge. But you want it to still be, fast food available. You want it to be drive-through, don't you? So
you do.
We're going to have to keep thinking about that one. But if anyone's got any suggestions to make it work, I'd love to hear it. We are struggling with food problems at the moment, and I'm not going down the route of admitting it was us that stole all that chocolate off the Kit Kat lorry, but if you're in need of a Kit Kat, you'll see in the car park afterwards.
Not the display Kit Kats.
No, the genuine top quality Kit Kats that available at very good prices. That's all I'm going to say on that one. I'm not going to give any more away than that. But we're also trying to get to the bottom of the number of fruit in a dessert.
Yeah.
And Paul's saying more fruit the better, but he's also saying he learned at horticultural college that when you plant out, say, a large mixed shrub bed, you plant the type of shrubs in odd numbers, 3, 5, 7.
Wow, why? Yeah. Why is that then? Did you say?
I assume it's more aesthetically pleasing, to use a fancy word. I am allowed to use fancy words occasionally. Argraph's saying, is it only an odd number if it's on top of a dessert, but could be in any number if it's inside a dessert? And the honest answer is we don't.
I'm getting confused now.